Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Studios here, and welcome back to another video. And today I'll be doing a movie review on a highly anticipated movie. Well, personally, a movie that I've been hyping up ever since this movie was announced. And a certain person who was in this movie, I think you probably know who it is if you know me so well. And this movie is The Whale. So The Whale came out in December 2022, and it's the most recent A24 film directed by Darren Aronofsky and stars Brendan Fraser, Sei Sig, Hong Chow, Ty Simpkins, and Samantha Morton. And basically, the film tells the story of this obese English teacher and father named Charlie, who pretty much has a really bad life. He lives with Hong Chow's character Liz, and he's like probably one of the most hated people. Not because of his looks that he's fat, but mainly because of how he abandoned his family for a man. So he became gay, and which pretty much caused him to separate from his wife Mary, played by Samantha Morton. I'm not sure if divorce would be a right word to use. I didn't hear anything about divorce in this movie, just like separation and stuff. I'm not sure if I should say they got divorced. As Charlie was seen like abandoning his family, he's pretty much massively hated by his own daughter Ellie. Like she pretty much just hates Charlie the most. Ellie, her his daughter, played by Stacey, and so Stacey comes around as a troubled teenager who's very aggressive and really hates her own father, and Charlie really admires Ellie despite Ellie having troubled life, and is hated by her mother and Charlie's wife. Charlie and Ellie must pretty much Charlie must try to reconnect with Ellie, and Ellie must try to get along with Charlie. That's basically the best summary I can give this film. Now, this movie is basically based on a stage play. This movie is based on a stage play. I haven't really seen it, but when you watch the movie, you can actually tell it's based on a screen on a stage play. Mainly because of how it just focuses on one. It just has one setting, and you can clearly see, like, it primarily focuses on one character, and you see supporting characters entering and exiting the film. So I really like that, but I'll get more into that later. But yeah, this is a very controversial movie. I mean, it's no surprise because this Darren Aronofsky is a very controversial director. Although I haven't seen the vast majority of his films, the one film I remember seeing from him is Black Swan, and I thought that movie was a masterpiece, but nothing else more than that. But yeah, Black Swan is a masterpiece, and yeah, this is like one of. I don't remember if I saw a straight drama, independent drama in theaters, but I saw it in theaters, and yeah, um, I think you all know the thing that made me hype about this film the most. It's from a certain actress I 1,000,000% admire, and I consider her to be my favorite celebrity of all time, and also my celebrity crush, I should add, Sadie Sink. Yep, yeah, aka Max Mayfield from Stranger Things. Yeah, I mean, Max is still her best role. There is no denying that, but I always admire Sadie Sink. I think she's just someone that I admire. I mean, I just love her performances. She's just a really great actress who doesn't really get the appreciation she deserves. She did get appreciated for Max Mayfield, but unfortunately she got snubbed at the Emmys, which is just why. And she even got snubbed from this movie. But I do love how Sadie Sink is like, seems like one of the nicest people in Hollywood. She even I even saw like her interview about the will. She even said that Brendan Fraser deserves an award. She even like praised Brendan Fraser, and yes, people. Yeah, this movie pretty much marks Brendan Fraser's renaissance, or should I say the Renaissance. So yeah, but this movie mainly is called pretentious, and other criticisms. It's controversial mainly because of because of how it represent the way it represents of obesity, and the fact that Brendan Fraser actually wears a fat suit for this film. Yeah, it really caused a lot of controversy. But after seeing The Whale, I gotta say, wow, that was absolutely perfect. Yep, this movie was a flawless masterpiece, and I seriously don't get the criticisms for this movie. I honestly had no problem with this movie. I think this movie gets so way too. I think people are way too harsh on this film. This movie is incredible. I am definitely siding with the people who literally said this movie was perfect because it is perfect, and I wish it did better at the Oscars than just nominated for like some minor performances. Minor well, it got nominated. Brendan Fraser and Hong Chow did get nominated, and it got nominated makeup and hairstyling too. But yeah, wow. I mean, I'm blown away by this. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said. Yeah. First of all, I think we can. Most people say that the best thing about this film is Brendan Fraser. I mean, he was impossible to hate in this film. Like, whether you liked him or hate him, yeah, whether you liked Brendan Fraser or hated Brendan Fraser, no, I mean, whether you liked the movie or hated this movie, you must admit that Brendan Fraser did give a stand-up performance, and yeah, he definitely does deserve the love he gets. And I'll admit, I was kind of annoyed by the Brendan Fraser praise because, all the good reviews I've heard, like people give us a 10 out of 10, they only talk about Brendan Fraser. They don't talk about any other They don't talk about the any other performances, like, or any other aspects of the film when it comes to the writing, the production design. Which, by the way, this movie should have been nominated for production design. I just love it. Like, it's just really good, and I love its simplicity for it. When speaking of simplicity, I'll talk more about it in a bit. But yeah, the walking out this film, I was thinking about it. It was really hard for me to say this, but for the longest time, I said Austin Butler gave the best male performance of the year. In Elvis, I think Brendan Fraser has just dethroned Austin Butler as the best male performance, and I think he should win the Oscars. But I would say I think at the same time I think both Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler I think that they're both tied. They're both on par as the best male performance of the year. But if I were to choose one among the two, I would say Brendan Fraser. So if Austin Butler or Colin Farrell wins, I will be okay. But Brendan Fraser is my pick to win Best Actor now. I should. This is proof that I should have done this movie. I should have done my Frozen Awards after seeing this film, or what I should have done with Oscars is that I should have like made the performances the last few, because so I can like give Brendan Fraser and especially Say recognition. Like, and I think they both definitely win the Frozen Awards. Brendan Fraser would win Best Actor, and Say would have won Best Supporting Actress. But yeah, but other than that, I mean, I think there are more things to praise than Brendan Fraser. I think people have said enough about this performance. Hong Chao is also another fan favorite, as she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I gotta say, I'm actually really happy for her. I actually don't mind her beating out another actress. Well, I don't know if it's a. Well, I'm so disappointed that this actress that didn't get nominated, but Hong Chao was amazing as well as Brendan Fraser's helper. I kind of view her. I view her as Brendan Fraser's caretaker, basically. But yeah, she was really good as well. But I don't think she's the best supporting casted, like what everyone else says. I mean, I'll say the best for last. Samantha Morton's character Mary, I will admit that she is the weakest aspect of the film for me. I mean, she's good, but honestly, I didn't really love her. Like Charlie's wife and Ellie's mother, I didn't love her. I mean, most of the time, like she comes off as just. I mean, she's like pretty much she hates Ellie, and like she pretty much villainizes Ellie. Like she treats Ellie like as if she's the main antagonist. Well, you can argue that she is kind of like a villain, but I mean, I'll talk more about her character later. But yeah, I really like her. Ty Simpkins is also really good. Actually, not thinking about it on reflection right now, I can't change my mind. I think Ty Simpkins as Thomas was is the weakest aspect. I mean, this I kind of like take back what I said about Morton. I don't think she's bad. I think she's still really good, and you can understand why she doesn't like Ellie. Okay, I don't know why I changed my mind. They're just right in this video, but yeah, you really understand where Mary's coming from. Like, I think Ty Simpkins was the weakest part. Basically, Thomas pretty much does the least in this film. All he does is just pretty much preach about really the Christianity to Charlie. He does the least in the film, and I think he is the weakest part. But I will say Ty Simpkins, he's really grown. I mean, he's known to play very childish, very not childish, but child roles and pretty much annoying characters, like especially in Jurassic World. Like, Jurassic, I remember him like the latest in Jurassic World, but this one it shows that he's grown to play a character who's very mature and. But I mean, all he did is just preach Christianity to Charlie, so that's why I think he's the weakest link. But he did have a cute chemistry with Ellie. But now let's get into Sadie Sink. Why do I think of Sadie Sink in this movie? Well, I gotta say, she was everything I wanted her to be and more. Wow, I am blown away. Now, I will say Brendan Fraser is objectively gave the best performance and the most award worthy, but come on people, give Stacey a chance also. She doesn't have awards and she you can see that she's really trying her best. I gotta say, this is Stacey's second best performance, second only behind Max Mayfield, and I think this is her best movie length performance ever. I mean, this is by far her most mature performance. I mean, her most mature. I mean, yes, she was also mature as Max, and Max is still her best performance. But maturity wise, I mean, this is her performance and character felt so mature. And I know people say that oh she's mean, she's like mean. People say that she's a mean spirited character who literally like way too mean. But you really are. But here's the thing, people. Ellie is pretty much she's a troubled teen. She's basically like just like most teenagers. She really yeah, how do I say this? Yeah, you really feel bad for her. I felt sorry for her. Like I really wanted to be on her side throughout because she basically like, she got suspended from class. So she pretty much always gets a failing grade, no matter how good. I kind of relate to that because even though I love my essays, I still like my teachers would usually just criticize it like, and I understand the criticism, but I was like, sometimes I just don't get it because I always feel like too satisfied, but I can really see myself in her. And there are like instances where like I feel like I just get mad at everyone. Like I always say to people that I hate them. Like I always have like as much fight like fights with my parents as much as Ellie does. So I really think she's just so relatable. And yeah, and Charlie calls Ellie beautiful. Well, I that pretty much sums it up for me. I think she is indeed beautiful, and that's probably my favorite line in this movie. Like every time Charlie says, "Ellie, you are beautiful," that's probably like some of the best scenes in the film. Probably my favorite scene in the film. Whenever Charlie calls Ellie beautiful. Wow, and and yeah, so besides the performances, this movie is really well written. This movie really has a lot of themes about like really heavy deep themes that will absolutely resonate with you, and it really spoke with me. This movie really spoke with me, and it made me feel for every single character. Even though I don't love Thomas and Mary, I think they're still both really good characters. What I love about this movie is its simplicity. This movie is really simple, yet it's entertaining. Like, A24 movies are usually boring when it comes to like the straight drama A24 movies. They usually either be boring or at least have like some scenes that get me lost or bored. But in this movie, I was never bored at all. I was engaged from start to finish, and nothing really slowed down. Like I was, even the scenes when Ellie wasn't present, it actually took Ellie actually didn't really enter the picture until 20 minutes into the film, and even without Ellie, I still cared about what was going on. Because of how amazing Brendan Fraser was, and like what I said, he gives the best male performance, but I still think it's not really like it's still on the same level as Austin Butler. But yeah, again, Brendan Fraser should win. But I also, yeah, this movie is also very simple. Because it only takes place in one setting. Like what I said, this movie feels like a play, and it's like you're really watching a stage play seen on the big screen. And by the way, yeah, the aspect ratio is this movie has a pretty small aspect ratio. I'm not really an aspect ratio person, so I don't know what the aspect ratio is. I don't, and honestly, I don't really care about aspect ratios. That's probably like out of anything in movies, that's honestly what I care about the least. I mean, if it's a small aspect ratio, then it's a small aspect ratio. If it's a full screen aspect ratio, then yeah, it's a screen. I don't. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me that much. It's just not aspect ratios are just not my thing. But yeah, I mean, I just love like this I mean, it would have been better as a one shot take. Like, I would have loved to see this movie like as a one shot take. Since it's just characters coming in and out. But I mean, yeah. It's okay because I think this movie is still well shot. Yeah, I mean, this movie is gorgeous to look at. That's what I should add. And yeah, the emotional scenes as well. Yeah, this movie actually did make me cry. I think this is probably the most emotional movie I've seen in the entire year 2022. Every time there's an emotional scenes, it really hits, and that's why I love a movie. I always love to feel the emotions of a movie. I love to laugh at movies when it comes to a comedy, but I love to feel it more. I love to feel the emotion, really feel that when a movie's emotional, it really hits me out hard. I think the most emotional scene in the film was the ending. And yeah, by the way, the ending is actually my real favorite scene. I won't say specifically what happens in this movie, but I would say, yeah, it really made me cry really hard. And you're gonna have to bring tissue when you go see this movie, either at home or in the cinema. Bring some tissues, like have some tissues with you because you're really gonna cry. The ending, like honestly, one of the best endings of 2022 in my opinion. This might have my favorite ending in 2022, but I'm still gonna have to think about it because there's some amazing endings as well, like Avatar: The Way of Water and Titanic. No, no, no. Avatar: The Way of Water, Top Gun Maverick, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. All like phenomenal endings. But The Whale is definitely right up there as one of the best endings of the year. Because wow, and yeah, so is there anything else to say? I guess, oh yeah, also the music is really good as well. I think the music is one thing that doesn't make me bored because usually I said this before, but scores usually what keeps me from like paying more attention because if there's no score, sometimes I would usually just lose get lost. But music really helps me to actually focus and pay attention to what's going on. Yeah. So overall, The Whale is a perfect film in my opinion. I think there is nothing I would change. Nothing I would change. It's absolute flaw. It's a flawless masterpiece. This is Darren Aronofsky's best film by a landslide. Not even Black Swan can come close to this. And this is the best A24 film. Brendan Fraser gives one of the best male performances. I don't love Brendan Fraser as an actor, but this was the best male performance of last year. And Sadie Sink, as Ellie is still my favorite character and my favorite movie character of 2022. Yeah, I would award her for supporting actress because she is just phenomenal in every single way. And yeah, I mean, and as great as performances are, this movie still has really great writing, great direction. It nails the simplicity and it's never boring for an indie film like this. Yeah. So with that said, I'm gonna give The Whale a 10 out of 10. This is a must-watch movie. Just ignore the controversy. Oh, and by the way, one thing I forgot to mention about Brendan Fraser's suit. Yeah, I mean, Brendan Fraser. Brendan. Things could have easily gone wrong when it comes to Brendan Fraser wearing a fat suit, but actually, it looks realistic when you actually see the final product. Like, there's a scene where Brendan Fraser pretty much removed his clothes and you see that he's fully naked. It actually looks realistic. It looks like a real body. So thankfully, they didn't fake it out. So yeah, that's all my review of The Whale. If you've seen The Whale yet, what is your opinion on it? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my ranking of the best picture nominees and more Frozen Award to come. Bye, guys.